In 10 years, I would like cities to be equitable and climate resilient. We live in a world of constant challenges, as many are calling now our poly-crisis era. Resilience is our ability to survive, to adapt, and to thrive in the face of challenges and change. So being resilient and instituting resilience governance, or the systems, the institutions that you need to be able to respond and not react when you're faced with a challenge, that's essential when you're always being confronted with problems. At Resilient Cities Network, and prior to that, 100 Resilient Cities, we created an office of a Chief Resilience Officer, someone who would look at city government in a holistic way, break down barriers between different departments, and also take a long-term view on the city's development. So that Chief Resilience Officer's primary objective is to look at the risks and the opportunities that a city faces in a holistic way, and then to set a pathway, a resilience strategy for the city to follow, and to help coordinate the different actors to do that. So having a Chief Resilience Officer, that's one innovation and one really great way for cities to get started in that planning journey and to bring the rest of not just the government, but also private sector and civil society along. Because resilience is really a holistic undertaking where you really need your whole city to be aligned on one vision. Digital resilience is important to define as we talk about it. So we have two pathways in digital resilience, and both are equally important. Digital resilience actually refers to our ability for our digital systems that we now take for granted in so many parts of the world. So our ability to get online to access our finances, our ability to get online to access the news, the weather, information, really important alerts about what may be happening in our community. So making sure that those systems, right, both the hard infrastructure, right, the actual connection, as well as the people who are connecting to that, are able to function in an emergency, in a shock situation. That's what we mean by one part of digital resilience. On the other hand, there's an opportunity, as you're asking, to use these kinds of digital technologies to better manage climate and sustainability challenges. And this isn't new. What's new is that we have to integrate those capabilities. One of the biggest impacts of a changing climate is how our relationship with water is impacted. Cities are constantly struggling with either too much or too little water. Now, if we think in Europe, where we are today, about one of the countries who's been dealing with water stress for the longest, of course, most people will think of the Netherlands. Now, in the Netherlands, they use a very integrated philosophy of room for the river in most of their cities to allow water to have a place to go. Now, very specifically, we work with the city of Rotterdam as a member city in Resilient Cities Network, and they have a number of really fantastic techniques of managing water. One is water squares, where they build in the public space sunken areas that in great times serve as sport areas, places for community theater, gathering, any kind of community activity. And in bad times, they're permeable. So they collect water and they keep it from going into the places where it would disrupt city activity. Now, back in 2016, we brought many cities to Rotterdam to learn from this example. And today, if you travel to India, to the city of Surat, you can see water squares being spread there. And so you see this kind of network activity and innovation and collaboration where solutions can really scale.